You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Mother Tamir Rice is asking the Ohio Supreme Court not to consider the police union's appeal to reinstate fired Cleveland police officer Timothy Loehmann. Loehmann shot and killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice in 2014 as he was holding a pellet gun. While not convicted in Rice's death, he was fired for lying on his job application. In a statement, Samaria Rice said this year, Timothy Loehmann can't be trusted. I hope that the Supreme Court does not give him a chance to get back his job. The fact that the Cleveland Police Union is still trying to get him his job, despite him killing my child and lying on his application to become a police officer, shows you just how immoral that organization's leadership is. That right there, Monique, I think speaks to this whole issue of why the registry is important and why officers like this should not get their jobs back. But it also speaks to what has to happen when it comes to these contracts that are being negotiated, where in many cases it is hard for cities, mayors, city managers to fire police officers a misconduct. A significant number of them get their jobs back through arbitration.
Absolutely. It's very hard. And that is another reason I'm going to sound like a broken record and say that I am supporting the passing of the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, because if we are increasing the chances, the likelihood of police departments being held responsible financially, being on the hook for the things their officers do, I just have a feeling they're going to figure out a way to increase their negotiating ability with the FOP. And the FOP is not going to want to continue to have to answer for these ne'er-do-well officers. So the pressure has to come from the top down, and then it has to come from the bottom up so that we can really create this perfect storm in order to get some movement. I believe that the Fraternal Order Police has a place and plays a role. I think that everyone should have advocacy, should have representation. I am not against unions or anything of the sort. It's just that when these members don't adhere even to their own membership agreements, there needs to be accountability for that.
Robert, again, this is a huge issue. We had the mayor of Columbus on who talked about how it's nearly impossible for him to actually fire a police officer.
Well, we saw similar things here in Atlanta when you had the police officers who tased the students at Morehouse and Spelman. We debated a couple weeks ago the officers who shot Rashard Brooks, who were reinstated. It's going to be imperative that that one, do we have the federal legislation, but two, do we have state and local legislation that opens up some of these police union contracts to find out exactly how much power they have. Because what we've seen is that even when you have mayors and district attorneys and even police chiefs who want to institute types of police reform that will ameliorate some of the violence in these communities, they cannot even fight back against the police union, and particularly the arbitration clauses in the contracts. So it's important that we take this lesson and understand that the battle goes forward. It's not just marching in the streets. It's not just holding a bullhorn. We have to get into those city council meetings. We have to get into those executive board meetings, financial committee meetings, and make sure that we're breaking these systems down from the inside out.
Scott?
Yeah, the power of the vote, again, affects this, because if your city council, your mayor, and even your state legislatures who vote on these police protection rules set forth by the FOP, even if it's through negotiations, that's a real problem, because they have to have courage to beat back and vote against this stuff and vote for police reform. The state of Maryland did just that. After their Republican governor vetoed a comprehensive police reform bill, the state legislature, with many Democrats and many black legislators, overrode that veto, and now they have probably the most extensive and progressive police reform legislation in place, right? They're not anti-police. They're pro-police excellence, if you will. But you got to elect the right people. You got to vote and have them vote with courage. And then lastly, with Tamir Rice's mom, the most important part of her statement dealt with trust. If a police officer shoots a 12-year-old within seconds, if a police officer beats up defendants and is corrupt and oppressive policing, and that's their motto, and they get caught once, maybe twice, why should we ever trust them again? Why should they ever be able to serve as a police officer anywhere? They shouldn't, if you will. And you don't have a right to be a police officer. And if you act badly more than once or even once, it's a matter of trust between the police department and this officer, and the police department, this officer, and the community. He or she can't be trusted. They need to go find some other employment.
Folks, back to our Roland Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Racial injustice is a scourge on this nation, and the Black community has felt it for generations. We have an obligation to do something about it. Whether it's canceling student debt, increasing the minimum wage, or investing in Black-owned businesses, the Black community deserves so much better. I'm Nina Turner, and I'm running for Congress to do something about it.